He has a 1-1 count. That one's struck high. Left side. That one's going. That's out of here off the lights. You have to be kidding me. Fireworks. And here you go.
Welcome one, welcome all, inside High and Tight, the flagship show, part of the IA Baseball Network, and as always, appreciate you coming along for the ride. Again, I am Andrew Brown, helping to bring you another edition of High and Tight, the first off-season edition of High and Tight across the 2024 campaign, and man, what a time it has been, man. It's a short show, just me here today. A short show, but we're going to go through some interviews that we got the chance to have during the 2024 Senior All-Star Series. We got the chance to end off from where we began and take a listen into a championship coach conversation. So again, we have a whole lot in store as we have Jace, Embry, and Boyd Jones of Sadell, the very teams that we started this 2024 season with. In fact, they were the first of our preseason tour. And they were two of the guys that we interviewed the very first time we stepped foot on a field in 2024. And of course, it was a great way to bring that full circle to wrap it up with those two absolute stars, both personality-wise and talent on the field. And of course, got the chance to talk with Small Schools West coach and the one and only championship coach, Coach Wyatt Zoske. We got the chance to talk about what it was like and how the name Cardiac Comets really, truly rang true for this North Polk squad. And of course, not only that, but what it's like to be a dad in baseball and what it's like to be a dad of a son who's on your team, go through all this championship with you, and what it means to now see him off to that next level. So a really cool story there, and a whole lot more. So stick around. Again, not as long of a normal show, but we're still going to have fun. Again, this show brought to you in part by the great folks that you see helping to bring us all the great time, including the great folks at the Log Cabin Greek Steakhouse in Galena, Illinois. Fantastic people. And I know, I can personally vouch for them. I mean, they have great people, and they have great food, great atmosphere. What's not to like, really? Try it out. Go there and have a great time. Enjoy it. It's a really great stuff. So make sure to check it out today at the Log Cabin Greek Steakhouse in Galena, Illinois. Again, I can't thank enough Insolites, who help bring us our Insolites.com hotline and help with the broadcast of all the games and shows, and plus the great folks at Hitting Approach. Hitting Approach truly is a revolutionary way that's cost-effective for all coaches out there. I mean, it's an app that you can pick, place, and work on almost any device out there, and you can get all of what the game happened from spreadsheets, charts, graphs, and a whole lot more sent right to you, and it's all there laid out perfectly. Post-game reports there. How did your batters do when they swung and even when they didn't swing? When they hit the ball and when they didn't hit the ball. What happened there in their at-bats? What went right and what went wrong, even if they got an out? Plus, how did your pitchers do in every count? Also, they go ahead and give a questionnaire sent right to your players to really engage in the cerebral form of the game and get a reflection on how they did in each game that they played. It's really a great way to bring everything full circle in a holistic approach made by coaches for coaches. HittingApproach.com. Plus, Victory Mounds. Man, I got to tell you, Victory Mounds, they have been with us since day one. And, man, they've been with the fields since day one. They know what works from high school to the pros and beyond. And they've done it. Even from the pitching rubber itself, they've got you covered there. Everything. They've extensively exhausted themselves, from Mike Donahoe to Craig Allison and Rush Niggett. They know the game. They know the fields. Check them out today. All questions answered at victorymounts.com. Also, great folks at RDA Financial. They help to bring us part of the holistic approach, right? We want to be holistic in how we provide content. From east to west, north to south. We want the entire state encapsulated, and we want to give that to you. And so RDA Financial helps to bring us the Prospect Planner, in which we dive into the pursuit of the college game. What it's like off the field, right? What do you need to plan for? What things have worked well? And it's not a roadmap that you need to follow. It's what has worked for some and stuff for you to kind of cherry pick from, right? And see what works for you and go from there, right? So again, check them out today at RDA Financial, because not only are they great with money, but they're great within your community. They know they've been there, they've seen what works from softball, baseball, basketball, football. They've been through it all. So make sure to check them out. Great people in your community. And again, check them out for great financial advice at rdafinancial.com. All right. Again, this show kind of short. Again, as we mentioned, talking through some of the interviews we'll have. But first, let's go ahead and say what a 2024 it was. Right? What a 2024 it was. What did we see? Well, we saw quite a bit, man. We saw teams like even from Nevada, who had a kind of a slim year for the last couple of years. They managed to improve that and then some. From Jackson Burlage, Drake Hinson, and others made it happen this year. They made a big push for that program. And what else did we see? We saw other fantastic programs. Anamosa really run and have a great season themselves. We saw Sumner Fredericksburg have good years as well. New Hampton, all those guys had great years, and it was very stellar to watch. We saw a lot of great games from Solon, Bishop Heelan, from Ankeny Centennial, Johnston, and anyone that they have played. We've seen it all. Let's start with the 4A scene, man. We saw a Titan in Cedar Rapids Kennedy who had felt a horrible defeat at the end of last season, right? When everyone thought that was their year. They still persevere, they still push on, and they made this year that. They rode the train of destiny all the way to the 4A state title game. And they had to do so taking down a lot of great teams. In fact, you could call Cedar Rapids Kennedy the team adaptable, right? Because they adapted into winning almost every way possible. I mean, yeah, sure, 23 times this year, did they go ahead and win by 5 runs or more? Yes. But they also found ways to win close games, such as the opening round win over Pleasant Valley. They found a way to win in a thrilling walk-off fashion against the always dangerous Johnston program. And you know what? One of the hardest things to do is take down a hot team with a big postseason push. And that's what they had to do against Dowling Catholic. They managed to thwart what was a hot Maroon team, and that's what ended up capturing the title for them. And in the end, man, it was a great season, right? We saw Titans there. We saw not only, again, Dowling making it in an unconventional way to the state tournament. They're staples at the tournament, but they went there as a bottom seed. We're not used to seeing them as a 7 or 8 seed, right? But they managed to have a postseason run for the ages. Postseason strikeouts galore. Their arms were perhaps the best in the postseason. And right from the get-go, extra innings to go ahead and move past game 1 of the postseason. And then they launched that all the way to the title game. Also, Johnston was on the doorstep of a 6th straight state title game. History in the making. Unfortunately, didn't get there. But man, what a ride it was for them. And then across 3A, man, oh man. A team that has been there, has been runner-ups, has been the bridesmaids 5 times with 5 runner-ups in program history, managed to capture their 2nd title. And they did so in the 2nd straight state title game. Man, was it interesting. And you know what? You can look back and say, you know what? The Cardiac Comets could not have been a truer name for North Polk. 13 times this season alone, they won by just 1 run. And of that, 5 to wrap up the season, including 3 come from behind victories. It was a storybook type season for North Polk, and they managed to push through. Again, they did it in a hair-pulling way, but the Cardiac Comets reign historical now, and they will forever be that, not just for winning a state title, but for doing so in the most dramatic way possible and giving fans all they could ask for and more. And then across the 2A scene, what did we see? It was a postseason that just had us going, what is going on? It was left, right, upsets, big games all over the place. But what's the one true thing we saw? We saw the Underwood Eagles, the only team that was a repeat into the state tournament from last year. They managed to run the gambit and they took the crown. They didn't lose anything from last year and they made the most of it, capturing the title this year. And man, it was a season for the ages for the Eagles. Dirty U baseball did it well. And what a fantastic time for them. Also, as you take a look at the 1A scene, we had juggernauts battling it out in the state tournament, man. But in the end, Linville-Sully, they also Mr. Team Adaptable, right? It was the sub-state final, which was the closest game they'd had all season in a victory, 1-0 over ACA, which you got to give credit to the Ankeny Christian Academy Eagles. They had a season that was up, down, but for the most part, stellar. And you know what? Eli Christensen and company did what they needed to do. Unfortunately, just didn't go their way, but it wasn't because they got outplayed. It was because it's just the way baseball ends up sometimes. But again, Linville-Sully, they made the most of that. They got to the big dance, and they did damage, right? They made it happen. They did what they needed to do. Quarter down harder, Lucas Seek and company, they were experienced veterans in the game. And they knew what they needed to do, and they got it done. So again, what did we see? We saw it all. We also saw a big battle go beyond the field in Brett Davis out of Western Dubuque. The inspirational product not only taught us what we need to do to be excellent on the ball field, but how do we be excellent in pursuing a very questionable situation. He has done that and more. Still played the game he loves at an exceptionally high level. Brett Harris will forever go down in history, not just for his batting, not just for his pitching numbers, but for his excellence and how he has maintained himself through a difficult situation that many of us, let's be frank, would crumble under. So again, kudos to what Brett Harris did, and kudos to what everyone else did. Again, teams like Nevada, all the way through teams like Solon, they had a strong bounce back year as well. From Pella, Bishop Heelan, others. There's been so many games, so many great times. And it's what helped make 2024 perhaps one of the best seasons yet. So here's to capping off what 2024 was and what 2025 could be. So for right now, ladies and gentlemen, let's dive into our conversations here. Again, we started the 2024 season as our preseason tour in Sadell. The gracious coaching staff and administration allowed us with open arms onto the field and onto what was the start of a very fantastic year for them. Again, Sadell, 25 wins, one of their top winning seasons over the past 10, 15 years. 25 wins is hard to come by, doesn't matter what class, and they managed to do that. And they went up against some really big squads across the season from 4A's Indianola, and they battled all. They battled North Polk hard in a one-run game. That was one of the one-run games North Polk had, and that came against Sadell. And two of the guys that we interviewed were two of the big linchpins that made it possible for this team to go that far. And we're going to start things off with Jace Embry, the catching phenom extraordinaire. We caught him right after his time here at the Senior All-Star Series. And then, of course, we'll move on to Boyd Jones and kind of wrapping up what was. And then, of course, we'll wrap things up on the show with the one and only Coach Zoske talking about the championship run for them, how the name Cardiac Comets, now he'll even say himself, and what it's been like to be a father going through this with your son in a great, fantastic year. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, take a listen and enjoy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are, and we got here with the one and only Jace Embry of Sadell. Man, I really want to appreciate you for coming up here, and we're talking to you, because obviously a great season that you had. You had a great All-Star Series as well, but you've also been requested to have a great interview, and here we are. And I did want to ask here, man, The time is done, right? I mean, it's kind of a bittersweet moment. You're still going to be playing ball. We're still going to see you in Iowa overall with Iowa Lakes, but take us through the moment right now. You've just wrapped up the high school time. What's going through your mind here?
It just came like really fast, honestly. Like the 4 years flew by. You know, you got a big journey coming ahead for sure up at Iowa Lakes, but just bittersweet playing my last high school ball game out on this field. Like it's over. Like it really is.
Yeah.
It's good to be out here though. Like.
Yeah. What did it feel like with, again, normally you got guys, you have juniors, freshmen, sophomores that are still going through the high school realm. What did it feel like to be amongst guys that are all going through the same thing you are right now?
That felt good. We had a lot of experience out there. We had some guys in the state tournament for sure. Won a championship out there. So it was a really good, a lot of experience out there, which really made it a lot easier. Less pressure on the fielders and pitchers and the batters overall. So really nice to have the experience.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And, of course, the season here for Sadell, man, one of the highest win totals for Sadell in, the last 10-plus years. What did it feel like to be a part of that group?
It was really big this year. Last year we fell a little shorter than we thought we should have. We had good pitching. We could swing it pretty well. This year we knew we had great pitching coming into the season. We had 2 dominant pitchers on the mound. Biggest thing was just could we really swing it? We had our guys that fell a little short of what they probably should have done, but we came out and tried our hardest every single game, and that's what we had to do to win games. And we're really, really happy that we got a 25-1 mark there. So,
yeah. And of course, now you've seen for several years what this team's capable of doing. You've been through some lean years. You've been through these years. How did it feel a little bit different coming into knowing that you grew this, that you helped grow the Sadell program to where it is?
Yeah, it felt really good, honestly. Feeling like I've been through the program for 4 years now. Like it felt good to be like one of the leaders on the team and to show the younger classmen to like step up and play their role if they're going to be playing varsity baseball, which really helped out because a lot of the kids stepped up and knew what they had to do to be a starter for Sadell baseball.
And again, we'll go back to this game here, the Senior All-Star Series. You go up against some teams during the regular season, and you get some pitchers that are here and there, but here you get pitchers that are the dudes on their teams all over the place. And, of course, you get great fielding and whatnot. What was it like to be a part of that? I know you got a couple big hits yesterday in the win there. So what was it like to be a part of a game where everybody is going to bring their all, and you got so much great talent on the field?
It felt great. Seeing great pitching is really helpful, especially going into college. Seeing some guys that can really chuck it is nice. And then just knowing, like, we got a great defense behind us. Our pitchers are comfortable pitching strikes and making them hit the ball. Like, just felt good to going out there and get some nice hits as well. So.
Yeah, well, man, hey, it's been fun to watch you this season. I love the fact that we got to kick off the year with Sadell, and I love that from the beginning. And, again, what a great season it was for you guys. So, again, Jace, I want to thanks for what you've done for the high school season, man. It's been great to watch you, and of course, we'll look forward to catching you on a lot more big hits here in the college realm.
Sir.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, again, this has been with Jace Embry of Sadell from the Senior All-Star Series, and we'll have more coming up later. So for right now, stick around, and we'll be back. And, of course, again, that was Jace Embry. Again, we'll be able to put that out there with a little bit louder quality coming on up. But for right now, again, brought to you by the great folks at Insulates.com. We move on to Boyd Jones. Man, an outspoken guy who's just really let his work do more of the talking for him. Very fun to catch up with him. Again, kind of a 360 moment for us. That was a really cool chance to talk with him after. And, again, kudos to the Senior All-Star Series. The Coaches Association has done it right. They did a great job. It is a fantastic time. I hope even if you don't have anybody in it, you get the chance to see, because it's nothing short of great play from the pitching to the hitting and anywhere. You're not disappointed in the action you get to see on the field. So really, it is a fun time, especially with a guy like Boyd Jones out there. We got the chance to talk with him after his final time in the Sadell uniform. Enjoy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are again. The Senior All-Star Series is wrapping up here, but not before we get the chance to talk with Sadell's very own Boyd Jones. And, man, I got to ask, first and foremost, we sit here, and I reflect back to the beginning of the season, right, when we did our first preseason tour, and we did so in Sadell at Gebhardt Field, man, and now we get to wrap it up here. This is kind of a cool moment here, but for you, that means you're wrapping up the high school career. What are the feelings going around right now as you kind of wrap up in a Sadell uniform?
Well, I'm grateful that I got to finish in a Sadell uniform, but it's sad. High school days are over. All the memories and friends you made along the way, it's over. But it's bittersweet, because you have more things coming up to you at college,
Yep.
and hopefully you can reconnect some of those things along the way, some of the friendships that you made along the way, and
Yep.
that's kind of what I'm hoping for. Just we all stay connected and just go
Yeah.
through life, I guess.
Hey, I like that. Well, one of the things, though, is you get to stay connected with your battery mate, Jace Embry here.
Yeah.
What did it feel like? Now, take me to the first time that you both knew that you were headed to the same destination here. What was that like here to know that you got a guy that you're really familiar with and you're going to be teammates with?
Oh, it makes you feel so much more comfortable and confident. Like it's always fun meeting new people and talking to new people, but when you're with someone that you got confidence in, like you just feel like it's like a brotherhood.
Yeah.
You can tell when two people have like a connection, like a good friendship like that. And
Yeah.
I feel like people are able to tell, and when we found out, we were all hyped. We were.
There you go.
We knew at the end of the season it wasn't over, so we could have a few more games together before we
Yeah.
got to college.
Hey, man. And again, you get the chance to come here. You're not going up against the third string guy on the mound. You're not in the field. You're going to get guys that hit the ball hard. What was it like to be in a game where no matter what you do, you're going to find somebody's ball or somebody's main guy on the mound?
Well, it just makes the game so much more fun, so much more fast paced.
Yeah.
You know what's gonna come, but you don't at the same time. You know you're gonna get a hard fastball, upper 80s always. So you just got to be ready for it. And
Yeah.
I feel like Sadell's prepared me perfectly for this. All of our practices, none of them were easy. We all, it was just a grind, which makes games like this so much more. I feel so much more comfortable in games like this.
Yeah.
Because of that.
Yeah, and talking about Sadell here, this was a program not too long ago, had some lean years. You helped in a really huge resurgence, 25 wins, one of the best marks you guys have had in a while here. You were a big part of that here this year. Again, talk to me about what that means to you as you kind of leave and you get to leave your stamp not only on Sadell but high school baseball here in 2024.
Well, I'm just glad that I was able to make a name for myself and hopefully make a name for Sadell in the future. But playing for Sadell was awesome. It was great. Like, the wins are cool. 25 wins or whatever, that's cool. 60 hits, but it's like the friendships and the brotherhood that you made throughout the season is really what's important to me. Because no matter where you go, who you play with, the game of baseball is the same. But not all the connections that you have throughout the games, throughout the teams are all the same. So that helped me a lot and helped the team a lot why we were so successful.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Again, great success. And for you had a huge year yourself, 95 total bases. I mean, that's something that you can't get very often, right? Not a lot of people do. You managed to touch that up. You were one of the leaders across the 3A scene, if not the state. What did it mean to you? You are a guy that's put in so much work in the offseason. Coach talked about your dedication coming over and everything that you've put together. What does that mean for you to see your name etched throughout most of the season, not only at the top, but now will be forever etched in high school history?
Well, I feel like it just proves to yourself, like, if you're a guy who didn't play, like I didn't play my junior year, if you're a guy who didn't play your junior year, or throughout your whole high school career, you can go into that off season, and if you have one thing on your mind, which is, just to get better, then you will get better. You just got to put the work in and trust yourself, and just play with confidence. And
yeah, man, I asked that because of that very thing. You are the great success story coming out here, and you made the most of your time. And here, 95 total bases. That's hard. I mean, I don't care. I could never do that in 6 lifetimes. You managed to do that here. But again, I also want to wrap up by saying here, what a season it has been, and a kind of a really cool wraparound that we get to talk to you after the tour that we did in the preseason here. But now you're heading to, again, the Iowa Lakes. What does it mean for you to head there? I mean, you were very confident in going to Iowa Lakes to become a Laker here. And what does it mean for you to get that chance and get with a good program like that?
Well, it means I can prove myself again. No spot's going to be guaranteed, so I'm going to go there and just continue to work my butt off and, make the most of it, be able to play baseball, as long as I can, and hopefully Iowa Lakes can help me do that.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Hey, man, thanks again for not only coming on here, but help wrapping up our season. This is really kind of cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have more to come here, but Mr. Jones has got to get out of here and head to Iowa Lakes. We'll have more coming up. And, of course, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap up our time here talking a really cool conversation with Coach Wyatt Zoske of North Polk. The Comets back into the state title for the second year. They captured their second title. And, man, it was a season that was just seemingly bound to happen, right? The way that they put it together, again, 13 one-run games, including 5 to wrap it up, and 3 come from behinds to take the overall title. We're going to talk to Coach Zoske, who initially didn't want to say Cardiac Comets. He didn't want to say that. He joked a couple times about, are we going to say it during some interviews? But at the end of it all, when all is said and done, he finally was able to really take hold of that name, because that's what it was. The Cardiac Comets, they captured the 3A title. And we got the chance right after the Senior All-Star Series to dive into that conversation and parenthood within the baseball realm. So what is it like? We'll get the chance right now to talk with Coach Wyatt Zoske of North Polk Baseball right now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we continue here from the Senior All-Star Series, and Small Schools West coach here, Mr. Zoske, Coach Zoske, I should say, and not only of the Small Schools West, but of the 3A champion North Polk Comets. Coach, I got to ask, a second title here for the Comets, but we'll get to that. But I want to get your take. Coming off of a state title win, you turn around and do something like this. What has it been like for you to kind of turn around and get to the Senior All-Star Series and kind of have one last hurrah in 24?
Yeah, I don't know if you could write this up any better. Just write a better script. But back last fall, I've always wanted to do the All-Star Series. It's kind of a bucket list thing as a coach, and
yeah,
you get to be around the best, literally the best of the best that there is in Iowa baseball. And I thought, Isaac's a senior. I don't know if he'd have a chance to play in this, but it would be a good summer to do this. And he would, if he didn't play, he could come and just hang out with the guys and get a feel of what college baseball is going to be like.
Yeah.
With all the good players and everything. And so, we had a good team coming out of last season, and this season, the way it played out, you just can't ask for anything more than what we got. We got quite a battle and ended up winning the whole thing, and it's just I don't know, you don't have the words, because everything played out to perfect. And to top it all off with getting to play here, and you've got some Raccoon River guys here that Isaac knew, and some of his buddies are here, and some of the guys he's going to play at DMAC, and Kirkwood, and those guys are here, and then to get here and participate in this it's just phenomenal. And the Coaches Association does just such a great job with this.
They do.
It's quite a weekend.
Yeah.
And it truly is. If you're a coach, this is a bucket list thing to do, and I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, and again, such a stellar atmosphere here. Love what Pella has done. Really love, again, the atmosphere, like you mentioned, absolutely spectacular. But I did want to once again reference back to the Comets here before we get any further. I'm looking at you. You still have hair left, and I say that only because 5 straight one-run games. You had to come from behind 3 of them. And I know we talked to you after the state tournament here, man. But I gotta ask, there is obviously a lot of tense moments, a lot going on there, but it does speak volumes of the fact that despite whether you're down, whether you've been on top, in the games that mattered, you came through and had a lot of great guys here. Obviously, we had Raghi and your son as well. But man, what a year this was. How do you encapsulate what the team was, how they were able to capture this? Because Cardiac Comets had a really big. It's a really true ring to it now, Coach. Now the fact that they have had 5 consecutive one-run wins.
It's okay to say that now. You don't want to live and die by that, but we live by it, I guess. And it tells a really good story. I don't know. if you go and you win 3 easy ones, which we were never going to do, maybe the storyline's not quite as fun to tell. But yeah, these guys just, I don't know, there's just something special about this group, and you kind of had a feeling that this group was capable of doing some, winning some games down there. But the way they came through, and they brought we had a couple sophomores played some big roles because you always concentrate on the seniors, but we saw, everybody's seeing what we got to get to see all season. We had the Indianola game, the Assumption game, the Prongi that day. We had 2 big wins just like that. We beat Ankeny early, where Rogge threw the gem.
Yes,
and
remember that.
But then you go look at the Van Meters, which Drew Owen beat. We won that one 1-0. Had to get one late. And, you could just go through our whole schedule, and that's just who these guys were. And it was just one of those things to them.
Yep.
And all the fans, it's not.
That's
and me,
right.
especially standing over at third, I'm like, who's going to be the guy? Is this going to happen? Should I plan a fishing trip? But these guys believe more than I did.
Yeah.
They had a confidence level that I could not explain, and they had fun with it. That's the biggest thing, is they had fun with it, and that's just the way they did it.
No doubt.
But it was something special.
Yeah, and again, a season that will forever be remembered, and it comes a year after you make the state tournament title game as well. Again, I think this is one of the best groups that I've seen in a while across all, and it's just really good guys on the shoulder. Hunter Cook, we can't go without mentioning. Postel, others. I mean, guys, we could go down the whole lineup here, but I also want to touch on, as we wrap things up, I want to touch on the fact that you got to, as you mentioned, get to the Senior All-Star Series with your son, Isaac, and I'm a kind of a newer dad myself here, Coach, so forgive me here. My oldest is 6, so I haven't gone through that yet, but take me through what it's been like to not just coach your son now to get to the high school level, but to do so in big moments, playoffs, state tournament, and, of course, the Senior All-Star Game. What was it like to be able to do that here, and how special was it to kind of wrap up the season in his career that way?
Yeah, when my son was 6, you just go back that this is my career, baseball's my career, and you just hope that he likes baseball and will someday play. And just to be able to have him on the team would be just a dream come true. And then to see him develop and enjoy the game the way he does, and have a group of guys that he gets to grow up with and play with, and some dads that will coach them and moms that take care of them the way they did. That's where it all comes back to, is how they got to grow up together, and they believed in each other, and they won when they were younger, and now they're winning when they're older.
Yep.
It's just really a special thing that you sit back some night and you just watch him at his little league game, and you go, maybe someday in a high school game he'll do something like this, and to see him actually do it, it's more than you can ask for, and to see him get to play in the All-Star Series and get spray it around, get a couple of hits, and catch some really good pitchers, and play with the best, and get honored the way he is. It's a storybook thing. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And I've got another son coming up who's going to be a sophomore, and I'm so blessed to know that he's into baseball the way Isaac is, and a daughter. I'm going to have to figure out how to switch to softball after a couple of years.
There you go.
And that will be a special thing too that a dad looks forward to, and a coach too. So
perfect.
It's quite the thing.
Yeah. Gosh. Hopefully get there myself. But for right now, here, Coach, congrats not only on what was fantastic, the title-winning season here, but also for the Senior All-Star Series. It's been great. So appreciate it.
I have to say that IA baseball is going to be a big part of what the videos and everything that we look back at when we're 20 years from now having our 20-year reunion, that those videos are the ones that are going to be stored away, I guarantee you, with the pictures and everything, and a lot of those things are already in our scrapbook. So we appreciate everything you guys do too.
Thank you, Coach. Hey, teams like yours make it really easy for us and make it a lot of fun. But thanks again, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks, Coach Zoske. And hey, we got more coming up. Senior All-Star Series coming on up after this. And again, ladies and gentlemen, that was Coach Zoske to wrap up our time here. Again, fantastic time. Again, fantastic individual as well. Love the fact that, again, you got family within baseball. Again, we're all a baseball family, right? So hopefully you've enjoyed that as well. But again, what a 2024 season. Fantastic. Loved every bit of it, and appreciate you for coming along for the ride here. As always, please like, subscribe, spread the word, and hey, if you get the chance, head on over, take a little vacay to Galena, Illinois, and the Log Cabin Greek Steakhouse. Man, it's a great time and great people overall, so make sure to check that out today. But for myself, Andrew Brown, and the rest of the IA Baseball crew, appreciate you coming along, and thanks for making this a part of your, season. Of course, we're going to have more content as we go throughout the offseason. We're going to catch up with some big names, not just in the Iowa baseball world, but the baseball industry. It's our chance to really go to the macro level side of things, and a really cool set of conversations that we get to dive into. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, thanks again, and we'll see each other. And when we do see each other next time, hopefully you'll stay safe on the base paths. Thanks again.